Imagine a death that no one ever calls murder. No scream, no blood, no gunshot. Just a man slumped in his chair, a cup of tea still warm in his hand. The doctor arrives, pauses for a moment, then writes a single line on the report. Sudden cardiac arrest. Case closed. Family mourns. Life moves on. But somewhere else, a hand calmly draws a line through a notebook. Test successful. Throughout history, tyrants have searched for the ultimate weapon. Not bombs that level cities. Not armies that march across borders. The most perfect weapon is the one no one ever sees. The one that kills quietly. The one that leaves no fingerprints, only questions. And in the heart of a nation built on fear, suspicion, and absolute control, that weapon was perfected. Not on a battlefield, but inside an ordinary-looking building in Moscow. People walked past it every day. They had no idea that behind those walls, death was being engineered. It went by many names. Laboratory 1, Laboratory 12, or the coldest name of all, the camera. But none of those names tell the truth, because this place was not a laboratory. It was a kitchen for death. To understand why such a place existed, we must return to a time when paranoia became state policy. The Soviet Union, early 20th century. After Lenin's death, power did not bring stability. It brought terror. Not chaos, but control. Fear became the foundation of loyalty. And enemies were no longer found, they were manufactured. At the center of it all stood Joseph Stalin, a man who trusted no one, not even his own shadow. In his mind, betrayal was not a possibility. It was an inevitability. If betrayal was certain, then execution had to be invisible. Not bullets, not knives, poisons. Silent, untraceable, perfect. To create such weapons, Stalin needed science. But not the kind bound by ethics. Hidden in the heart of Moscow, they built a secret facility. It went by many names: Laboratory 1, Laboratory 12, but most would later know it as the camera. At its center stood a man who believed death was simply data. His name was Grigory Marinovsky. To him, human beings were not people, but test subjects. Men and women taken from the Gulag, already broken before the experiments began. They were told they were receiving medicine. Instead, they were given death. Behind the walls, scientists watched as life drained away. Every second was measured, every gasp recorded. The goal was not pain, but invisibility. A death so clean it could be mistaken for fate. They searched for poisons with no taste, no smell, and no trace. Substances designed to fool doctors, autopsies, and entire nations. Some poisons stopped the heart without warning. Others quietly shut down the lungs, stealing breath 1 second at a time. The most effective poisons attacked the nervous system itself. Victims collapsed within minutes, their bodies betraying them from the inside. One compound became their greatest success. A poison that paralyzed the body, silenced the breath, and left almost nothing behind. During autopsies, doctors found nothing out of place. The cause of death was always the same: natural causes. Soon, these poisons were no longer confined to the laboratory. They were deployed against enemies of the state, both real and imagined. One of those victims was a man who had saved thousands of lives. A diplomat who survived the Nazis only to vanish into Soviet silence. Years later, the world was told he had died of a sudden heart attack. But those who knew the patterns recognized the signature of poison. In the end, the architects of this machinery were not spared. The same paranoia that demanded silent weapons eventually turned inward. Dunrik Yagoda, the man who demanded the perfect poison, became its victim. The laboratory he created outlived him, continuing its work in silence. Long after Stalin was gone, the knowledge remained. The science of silent killing was passed down, refined, and perfected. From radioactive tea to invisible nerve agents, the methods changed, but the intent did not. Critics fell ill, defectors collapsed, and the world watched in confusion. This is what happens when science is stripped of conscience. when knowledge serves power instead of humanity. The most terrifying weapons are not those that destroy cities. They are the ones that kill quietly and leave the world pretending nothing happened.